Hello YouTube. It's been a while. It's been over 1 year since I recorded my last video. And if you check it out, I say that hey, I moved to the United States. I left everything behind, and I'm excited for this new country. In today's video, I want to share my progress and what I've done in a year, how much I've accomplished, and I've been to many places. I've done a lot. I changed many jobs. So without further ado, let's get started. The purpose of this video is I just pretty much want to talk about my journey and direct it to people who just like me, who come to this country, who don't know anything about it or think they know, and then realize they have to figure out a lot of stuff on their own. I want to share my journey, show how far I've come, and how much you can do in a little over a year. And I realized that what I've done is actually a lot. It's a decent amount in all different spheres. You will see I'll talk about credit, I'll talk about meeting people, getting a job, moving to a different country, like moving to different states. And I moved to like 3 states right now. Um, right now I live in Florida. Right now I have a job. Right now I even opened an LLC, I opened a business. I have a credit score of over 720, which is a lot in the United States, as you probably know. Um, I have many people, many connections, friends. I have bought a car and I have sold a car and now I'm buying another car. I work multiple jobs. I am going to file my taxes for the first time. I was going to the gym in the meantime, which was like a big focus of mine. I was improving in like different spheres of life. So I was working on my body, I was working on my style, I was working on building friendships, relationships. I was building my work history, my LinkedIn account, and I did a lot. I did a lot, and in this video, I just want to put it out there, share, and I think you get it. So let's start where it all began. So this is me. This is April. This is October. So this is October 2022, and I decide to leave Budapest. I decide to leave Hungary. I moved to United States from Hungary. I had the same history in Hungary. I came there in 2019. I moved there from Ukraine. I mean, I lived in different places. I lived in 5 different countries throughout my life. So I moved to Hungary in 2019, and during these 3 years, when I moved to Hungary, I started with nothing. I started with $100 in my bank account and $1,000 in debt. By this time, I'm broke. I do like freelance web development, and I make like $500 a month. I have to pay off my debts. I I'm just a kid. I started working as a volunteer in a hostel for 4 hours a day, 5 days a week. I lived there pretty much for free. And I started meeting a lot of people, getting to know myself, the world, learning English, like just improving in all areas of life. In the 3 years, I achieved everything I ever really wanted for Hungary. I, in the end of it, in the end of my 3 years, this is the apartment I lived in. Beautiful, my favorite apartment I ever lived in. It's more than 1,000 square feet. I lived alone. I loved it. Um, I had a job in a good company. I worked remotely, going to the office. It's a real adult job. It was paying me about average in Hungary, which allowed me to drive cool cars. This is kind of renting car I was driving in, and this is the office I worked in. And then I was traveling every 3 months. Yeah, this is how I looked like. I guess I looked very different before, but I changed a lot. Love Hungary. Budapest is absolutely my favorite country. Love my apartment. This is the view of my apartment I used to live there. All my friends loved it. Had a bunch of fun there. Had a bunch of fun in Hungary in general. It was just really cool. And this is me in France, and this is me organizing a party for like my last day in Hungary. This is not all people, it's just beginning of the party, but like in the end 18 people showed up. um, a bunch of friends I made there. I would have more photos to show, but in general, I loved Hungary. It was awesome. I achieved everything I wanted. I was traveling every few months. I had a good job. I had the car. I had good relationships. I just loud life, and everything was just like perfect. I lived in the middle of the city, as you can see, city center, close to everything, 5 minutes to everything, and in general, life was just great. But I always had more ambition, always had more ambition. I always wanted to do more, and I realized like, okay, if I want to buy a house, it's kind of difficult in Hungary because I was born in Hungary, but my primary language is Ukrainian. So even though I learned Hungarian, it was still difficult. Like if I want to buy a house or open a business, it was just different. I wanted more, and I had the opportunity to come to the United States, in 2022. So here's when I decide it's time to leave everything behind, everything I've built in the 3 years, and it's time to move to America. Like I speak English already. I I think I know the culture, I know the people. I decide to leave. So when the time comes, I buy a ticket and I move. I leave everything behind and I move to New York. Um, I was lucky enough to have a sister who was living in upstate New York. She's older with the kids, and I was able to live with them for a few months. Bro, but when I came to New York, oh my God! Like I remember I was climbing Empire State. I just had tears in my eyes. I just absolutely loved it. I was so happy. This was my dream since I was a kid to come live in US. I was just so inspired by all the movies and everything. The culture, the YouTube, like the books, the everything I was doing for the last few years when I was in Hungary and before back then in Ukraine. I just dreamt to come to United States, and here I am. Climbing Empire State. It was just like really one of a lifetime experience, and I was just so happy for what awaits me, right? But it wasn't that easy. In the beginning, I my thinking was to start to come to US, start build a business in a few months, make a bunch of money, and live my dream life, travel, have fun, live anywhere I want. It wasn't that easy. I had to start by living in not the best place I want. And if you remember the apartment I showed you, moving after that was that view in the city center in Europe, moving to middle of nowhere, really in upstate New York. Man, it was depressing. It was really depressing. So after a few months there, realizing I can't build a business if I don't have proper documents, if I don't have a driving license, if I don't have a credit score, if I don't know anybody in America, if I still don't know people, if I don't know much about the culture, because the culture is very different. If I don't have a car, I can't drive around. I can't do much. So that's that's all I realized. And I realized, okay, I have to stop doing business that I'm doing. There was an online business I was building, and I need to focus on first getting my shit together in America. So I had an uncle in Pittsburgh. I know I'm very lucky to have people in my life. So I decided to move to Pittsburgh. This was a bigger city, and I thought I would build a life there, right? Um, but after some time, I realized Pittsburgh is not a city I can build my life in. It's also pretty depressing. I just realized I need to be inspired. I need to be in a good surroundings where access to good people, good community, access to business opportunities, access to good jobs. And I realized I need more. And to do more in America, you need a car. So I decided to buy a car. Ugly, very bad, but I spent 2,000 to buy this car. I bought it on the auction. I know I took a big risk, but I spent 2,000, and it's 2013 Veloster Turbo. I saw it and I was extremely impatient because I'm ESTP type. If you know about personality types, so I decided to buy this Veloster in like a day without doing much research. 2000. This is where it was a broken bumper. It didn't have good wheels. It's just all around bad car. In the end, I managed to fix it, but we will get to that later. And yeah, some photos from Hungary as well. This is me in Hungary. But I was very happy to have this car. I fixed it, it worked. It took me a few months to fix it, but it worked. And after a few months in Pittsburgh, I decide it's time to move on. So I leave Pittsburgh, I go to DC just to travel, didn't do much there. and I also go to Philly, where I just traveled. But my goal was to go to Florida, where I am right now. My goal was to go to Florida because I heard so many good things. I watched good videos. And when I was in America, I had this mentality of European, It's like, oh, in Europe, you want to go to like the biggest city in a country. So like if it's a Hungary, you go to Budapest. If it's a UK, you go to London. If it's Paris, you get the drill. You go to Paris, you go to Barcelona or Madrid. You want to be in the capital. You want to be in the middle of the city, the biggest city. So I had this mentality of European, and I didn't know much about Florida. I just knew it's a good state, which I will enjoy, and it happened to be true. So, with this mentality, of European, I decided to move to Florida. And where do I go? Right. I go to Miami. I go to Miami because I think it's really, really fun. I decide that, you know, it's going to be really fun in Miami. It's a big city, and I found a hostel there. Truth be told, there's not many hostels here in America that are like European standards. Hostels here is something bad. People don't usually stay in hostels. They stay in hotels. They drive cars. It's completely different here than in Europe. But I had the thinking that I go to a hostel, I meet new people, so that's where I end up. That's where I end up going. Really, I go to the hostel. I start meeting people. That's what I started doing the first thing. And back here, my car is breaking down. It's not the best car because I bought it from the auction. It works. It drove me like more than 1,000 miles, but it's breaking down. I start meeting people. I start going to different places, and I just start to like learn about American culture. And I learned a lot, and I met a lot of cool people, which I'm really grateful about. I lived in Miami approximately 2.5 months. I was looking for a job. At this point, I'm still thinking, oh, I should do business. I shouldn't go back to like work in a corporate job, the one I had for like 2.5, 3 years, right? I didn't want to do it. I want to do a business, and I thought it would be all quick. But still, I realized that I need to settle down. I need stability. And one of my jobs that I did, it was working as a when you go out of Publix or like a supermarket, they try to sell you something. So that's what we were trying to do. We were there, it's just me, trying to be like, hey, how are you doing, can you stop by and like, here is what we kind of sell. And then you kind of get people interested, and then you sell them stuff, whatever. It's like, it was a subscription for like $25 a month for a good cost, right? But it was extremely hard to sell, especially in Miami where everybody speaks Spanish. Like, it's really hard to find people who speak English, right? It's just, Miami is just crazy. It was like experience, and I'm glad I went through it. But this was like one of the lowest points in my life, because this job was paying me $300 a month, a week approximately, which is $1,200 a month, which is absolutely not enough to survive in Miami. And during this time, I share a 2-bedroom apartment with 7 people in total. So there's 4 people in one room. There's 3 people in another room, and it's just life is just crazy. I mean, they're all cool people. I met a bunch of cool people, right? But life is just a mess. Obviously, I don't even have my own room. So like, my car is breaking down. I live with 7 people in a kind of like shared living space. But the apartment was awesome. Like, it was in the downtown. It was a nice view in like Miami, really close to everything. But I'm in debt. I am living with 7 people. I don't have credit. My car is breaking down. I have the job that's like absolutely the worst, and I don't make any money of it. And I have to drive 2 hours every day just to get to a job and then go to a location. And every day is a different location. So this is like the worst possible, okay? One thing about me, by the way, I already spoke English before I came to US. So I guess I still have an accent, obviously. But I already spoke English like on my day one when I was here, because I worked a job in English in Hungary. All my friends were like international, so it's a big advantage I had. And if you watch me, I guess you're the same, or you learned English recently, which congratulations. I mean, it's a big thing to do. There was even a point I worked in a Trump hotel, which was like so random, but it happened. I just applied for some jobs on WhatsApp, sent my resume, and it's like, yeah, there's a job, come there. No interview, nothing. I just come, they give me the suit. I worked, and I saw Ben Shapiro, which was like awesome. Like, but it was just different story, man, different world. And if you don't know these people, that's also okay. Which I guess you know Trump though. um, but then I start traveling. I start meeting more people, and so that happens. I found out about a city called Tampa. It's in it's in like west of Florida. It's a small city. I go there to meet my old manager back from Europe, and I go and like party. But I meet her. I meet other people, and oh my god, like I fall in love with this city. It's like a really cool city. People speak English. Finally, it's actual Florida, and maybe not the best place I would like to live in. Maybe I want to move to Texas or New York or I don't know California in the future. But this is the place I really find myself. At this time already, I finally get a job that's like a remote job, and bro, that was really cool. Like I finally got a job that like it's in my field. It's something I was doing before. It's like operations and kind of like finance company. It's a remote job. It's not like the highest pay, but this job pays me like a medium like average salary in United States, and it's fully remote and it's super chill, super easy. I love it, and I get this job, and I moved to Tampa. That's what I did on my month 7, 8 in the United States. So by this time, I've been to Binghamton. I lived in Pittsburgh. I got all my documents sorted, so I got a work authorization. I got driving license, all of that. I lived in Miami. I found out about Miami, about Florida. I met a lot of people, went to many different networking events, and then I found out about Tampa, and I moved here with the job. And this is kind of where my life actually starts in America, because this is the apartment complex I lived in and still actually living in, which is, it's decent. It's an apartment complex. And mind you, this is May, but the same weather is right now in January. It's like 85 degrees Fahrenheit, which is like 25, 30 degrees Celsius, which is perfect. It's always nice and sunny in Florida, and I love it. So I'm really happy with the decision I made. I'm really happy to be here. This is the time I also meet like a bunch of people here in Tampa, but also people who like live here, who are Americans, international people. I just meet people who actually live here, not in like Miami where people just come and go. No one stays in Miami. It's just Miami is just crazy, man. This is the time I also set my goals. I had a bunch of goals here, like pay off my debts, close my get a credit card, open different bank accounts, work, save money, fix my car, sell my car, like all a bunch of goals. The green ones are like my big goals, like lose weight as well, buy clothes. Like I started with like nothing. The first year in America was like the bro 2023 was the most difficult year for my life, and I moved to like many countries. I moved to Hungary with $100 and 1,000 in debt, but it doesn't compare to America. Here I realized without credit you can do nothing. You need a credit score. Without job experience, nothing. Insurance, if you never drove in America and you're a new driver here, your insurance is gonna be like $300-400. And because I'm less than 25 years old, it was $300. But then I found out about different insurance companies, and there's insurance companies that are like $150. That was my insurance when I had a car last, right? Bro, there is a lot in America. When you start is the most difficult thing. But I started figuring it out. I went to Oregon to visit my friend. He also visited me in Budapest. This is my old friend. We know each other for like 10 years. I go to Oregon and we climb this mountain. It's really fun. Yeah. Then during this time, I work on my appearance. I go to the gym because this is how I look like when I moved to Tampa. So in the meantime, I work on my gym. I get credit cards. I learn about credit cards. I learn about like how to take care of yourself, how to go to the gym, because I already was going to the gym, but I started being like really skinny back in 2019. I was really skinny, and I was like, I didn't have anything on me, like just I was just skinny. But and I started working on myself. I started bulking, which I guess it's a different video. But I bulked too much when I was in America. The food here is different, so I was like 180 pounds on this photo. Started working on myself, got to I think pretty good shape, got to 155 pounds, even have some abs going on. So this is it pretty much. This is my life in America. During this time, I also opened a business. I I'm going to submit taxes this year, as I said, for the first time, and I had a good job. I made a good money. I sold a car. I bought a car, buying another car. I worked on my like. I actually in 2023 I made a list of accomplishments that I did, which is like which is a lot. So let's recap and not make this video too long. But I hope you guys get inspired and you guys see how much you can do in like a year in America. And I did it all like with support of like a lot of different people, but also I made sure I put myself out there. I go to events, I meet people, I make connections, I made friends. This was one of my priorities whenever I move to a new city. Number one thing I do is like I meet people. Because when you meet people, you learn about the city, you learn about the culture, you just learn, you just and I never stayed with like people from my country, so like Hungary or Ukraine. Like I did, but I also tried to meet people who are like Americans, people who live here their whole life, so I can immerse myself into a culture. Many people who come to US, I noticed they stayed with the same people they kind of grew up with, like Brighton Beach in New York. People just Russians, and they stay Russians for the rest of their life in the United States. Like I didn't want to be like that. I didn't want to stay in my bubble. I wanted to grow, develop, to you know. By now, I have a credit score of like 720, which is a big deal in America. It's a really good credit score. I have a job that's remote that pays me like really like average salary. I have I worked on my body. I improved my body, improved my appearance. You know, this was also a priority for me because I can probably talk about this in another video. But the way you look, the way you like portray yourself in America it really matters. I think anywhere really. So the way you look, the way you dress, the way you talk, I'm still working on this like every day. But I decided to record this video to show you progress I've made, and also have this as a memory of how far I've really come. So what else did I do? I got my work authorizations, my documents. It's really important to stay legal. I opened LLC. I lost 25 pounds. I learned gym. I started going to the gym properly. Like I started with home workouts, did it for a year, bulked up, gained too much weight, and then I really like went to the gym, lost pounds. And now I think I'm gonna bulk again because my goals are like still to get bigger, like in terms of body. So that's one of my goals. I paid off my debts. I I got insurance from my job. I figured it out. It was like, yeah, I had to figure it out. I traveled to six different states. I've been to DC, as I said. I've been to Texas. Recently, I went to Thanksgiving. I went to Texas with my friends. It was a lake house, and it was really fun. So I did that as well, and I really love Texas. Not gonna lie. And yeah, this was my life in America in 1 year and 2 months. This is what I've accomplished. Well, 3 months now. Yeah, so 15 months. This is what I did in 15 months, and everybody's journey coming to America is going to be different. So yours definitely is going to be different. But a few things that are really important is a credit score is a number one thing. You have to have it. And credit is like a huge thing. It took me like months to figure it out and still figuring it out. But it's a really cool thing to know. Second is it's a different mentality. It's a place where people drive cars. So you need a car. You need to know your way around cars. And right now I'm just gonna say the most two reliable cars are Hondas and Toyotas. That's what you want to buy, Honda or a Toyota. Like that's it. That's all you need to know right now. And don't buy stuff from auctions if you don't know about cars. Okay. Then really important to have a job. Obviously, it's really important to speak English, but I guess you do if you watch this video. And it's really important to know people, to put yourself out there, because people are the way you can get opportunities and you can feel at home. The most important thing also in America is just like really feel that you belong. It's gonna take a while. It took me. I feel very comfortable at this point. I feel very like that's why I record this video because I feel comfortable. I feel like I can share my journey now and I can inspire and I can help other people, which some people tell me like I should. So hopefully this was inspiring. Hopefully this was helpful. hopefully hopefully you are on your journey to also settling down in America and making the best, because in the end of the day, it is a land of opportunities. Like, I find it to be true. I find it work for me, and I really want to stay here and move forward living in America. So I also created a business that's called Ambition Hub LLC, and that I'm trying to develop now. So if this was helpful, I'm probably gonna leave a link with my website that I'm still building. But my idea is to create a group and help people to get the results I got in a short span of a year. And so it's like credit and insurances, jobs, how to get a remote job, all of that. So if it's helpful for you, you can go down below, in the comments and check it out. But yeah, and leave me a comment if you like this video, if you would like to learn more about credit or anything else, and I'm gonna cover it in the next videos. Thank you, and it's been a pleasure. Bye.